welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right in, guys. For generations, the popular image of our early human ancestors has basically been, well, a crude caricature, right? We picture these simple cavemen grunting around a fire, just barely surviving day by day. But today, we are completely shattering that trope. We're going on a deeply immersive journey into the shadows of the Earth, from flooded underground labyrinths to freezing mountain peaks, to uncover some truly breathtaking discoveries. These aren't just dusty artifacts. They are literal echoes of ancient peoples who were incredibly advanced and deeply complex. It's going to be a wild ride.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with Earth's ultimate time capsules, move into rewriting the family tree, explore the Denisovan genetic legacy, check out some unexpected ancient technology, uncover rituals in the deep, and finally wrap up with reevaluating our ancestors. Let's do this.
Section 1. Earth's ultimate time capsules.
So, what if everything we thought we knew about early humans was literally completely wrong? To really grasp this, we have to stop thinking of caves as these dark, damp, primitive dwellings. Instead, think of them as the Earth's ultimate time capsules. You see, out in the open air, history just gets erased, right? Wind, rain, the baking sun, it all washes the past away. But deep inside a cave, that environment is completely sealed off. It acts like a giant, natural vault, protecting incredibly delicate secrets, things like ancient footprints, fragile DNA, and forgotten tools that would have otherwise been wiped clean from the face of the Earth forever.
Archaeologists exploring these insane submerged caves in Mexico recently hit the nail on the head. They said these discoveries are changing what we know about early migration, showing a more complex story. And honestly, that quote right there is basically the heartbeat of our whole explainer today. We aren't just tweaking a few dates on a historical timeline here. No way. We are unlocking entirely new, mind-blowing chapters of the human saga.
Moving on to Section 2. Rewriting the family tree. Okay, to really wrap our heads around our history, we have to realize that human evolution isn't just a straight, simple tree with a single trunk. It's actually a deeply tangled bush of interconnected species. And sometimes, massive, world-altering paradigm shifts start with the absolute smallest things. Take a look at this. It's a seemingly unremarkable 50,000-year-old bone fragment. It was unearthed back in 2008 in the Denisova cave out in remote Siberia. Honestly, it looks like a totally mundane piece of gravel you'd walk right past, right? But in reality, it's the pinky bone of a young girl, and it literally changed human history forever. Just think about the physical reality of this for a second. We're talking about a pinky bone that's mere millimeters wide, yet it contained a massive historical secret. When scientists took this highly degraded fragment and painstakingly extracted the DNA, the results completely shocked the world. The DNA didn't match Neanderthals, it didn't match Homo sapiens, us. It belonged to a completely unknown, highly advanced species of human that we had never, ever seen before. We named them the Denisovans. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth do scientists actually find a microscopic needle like that in a haystack of literally hundreds of thousands of crushed animal bones? Well, they use this incredible technique called zooms, that stands for Zoo Archaeology by Mass Spectrometry. Now, don't let the overly technical name intimidate you. Essentially, scientists are able to extract ancient, surviving proteins from deep inside these tiny bone fragments to figure out exactly what species they belong to. It's like high-tech, prehistoric detective work. Think of this mass spectrograph exactly like a biological barcode being scanned at a grocery store checkout line. Researchers were testing thousands of tiny bone fragments, just scanning and scanning their protein signatures, and then, suddenly, the scanner practically beeped on a very specific biological barcode. A bone, which we now call Denisova 11, was flagged as hominin, a human ancestor, just hiding right there in the rubble, over 50,000 years old. How crazy is that? And when we map out this ancient mitochondrial DNA, we get a phylogenetic tree. Think of it as an incredibly detailed genetic family map. If you look closely, notice how the Denisovan 11 bone actually falls right smack within the Neanderthal variation branch. But at the same time, the Denisovans sit firmly on their own distinct branch, right alongside modern humans. It's absolute, definitive proof that our ancestors were out there sharing the world and, yes, interbreeding with multiple, highly advanced human species at the exact same time. And guys, this incredible complexity wasn't just isolated to one specific cave. It was a total global phenomenon. We have the Denisovans surviving and thriving in the freezing, brutal high altitudes of Siberia. Then, thousands of miles away, over in the Philippines, we find Homo luzonensis. This is a species over 50,000 years old, perfectly adapted to island life, complete with these remarkably curved toe and finger bones made for climbing. And, as we'll see in a bit,
early humans in the Spanish Pyrenees were building complex, permanent settlements literally in the sky. Our ancestors weren't just surviving, they were absolute masters of some of the most extreme environments on Earth.
All right, let's jump to Section 3, the Denisovan genetic legacy. So the Denisovans themselves might be gone, but their physical reality actually lives on inside many of us today. They left modern humans what I like to call an evolutionary software update. The fossil record suggests their brain cavity capacity was up to 20% larger than ours. But their true magic? That's in their living DNA. Today, modern Tibetans who live comfortably at an insane 14,000 feet elevation utilize the EPS1 gene. It's basically a genetic cheat code that helps their blood absorb scarce oxygen from the ultra-thin air. And get this, they inherited that exact gene directly from Denisovans. You add in a fiercely robust immune system and genetics that point to slower cellular aging, and you realize they were, in a lot of ways, kind of like an upgraded form of human. Next up, Section 4, Unexpected Ancient Technology. When we map out all this overlapping prehistoric complexity across time, it totally shatters that old illusion of primitive, basic stone tools forever. Technological sophistication wasn't just some sudden modern fluke. It was a persistent, deeply ingrained trait spanning vast epochs of time. We're talking everything from Denisovans engineering jewelry 50,000 years ago, to highly deliberate ceremonial burials 8,000 years ago, all the way to early humans smelting copper high up in the mountains 5,000 years ago. It's a continuous chain of brilliance. Let's zoom back into that Siberian cave for a second. Archaeologists discovered this absolutely stunning green chlorotallite bracelet dating back 50,000 to 70,000 years. And honestly, what's staggering isn't just the jewelry itself, but the mind-blowing engineering behind it. It features this perfectly round hole that experts believe actually required high-speed rotary drilling. Just think about that for a second. Mechanical drills tens of thousands of years ago? They also found a 50,000-year-old needle complete with an eye for threading. This implies intense planning, a grasp of symmetry, and advanced manufacturing thousands and thousands of years before modern humans supposedly figured it all out. And this ancient ingenuity just carries right forward in time. High up in the Spanish Pyrenees, sitting at a dizzying elevation of over 2,200 meters, is the Cova 338 site. Here, over 5,000 years ago, early humans built 23 hearths, specifically designed for smelting malachite into copper. These people weren't just transient hunters passing through. They were building complex, permanent industrial zones up in the clouds. And we know this was a thriving community because right alongside those hearths, researchers found the remains of an 11-year-old child, as well as seashells traded all the way from the Mediterranean. We're talking maritime trade routes converging with high-altitude metallurgy. Just incredible. Let's move to Section 5. Rituals in the deep. To truly understand our ancestors, we really have to look beyond just their tools and try to peer into their hearts. Over 8,000 years ago down in Mexico, someone died. But their community didn't just leave them to the elements. I want you to imagine this scene. Illuminated only by flickering torchlight, mourning community members navigated 200 meters deep into a pitch-black, suffocatingly narrow, dry cave interior. They intentionally placed the body on a remote sediment dune, performing a deeply deliberate, complex ceremonial burial. And then, when the ice age ended and sea levels rose, the cave flooded, perfectly sealing this underwater tomb. The sheer effort, the danger, and the deep emotional resonance required to honor the dead in this way, it absolutely proves our ancestors possessed rich spiritual lives and profound beliefs in what lies beyond.
Finally, Section 6, Re-evaluating our ancestors. So, when we weave all these tiny micro-evidences together, a massive, undeniable new truth emerges. Take a look at these micro-CT scans of the Denisova 11 bone. They reveal an incredibly dense structure that is actually heavily scarred and etched by stomach acid. Turns out, this bone literally passed through the digestive system of a prehistoric hyena. Yet, despite being chewed up by predators, crushed by millennia of shifting rock, or flooded by rising oceans in Mexico, these resilient fragments survived. They survived to tell us a story of a deeply connected, technologically capable, and emotionally complex ancient world that was thriving long, long before our traditional history books even begin. Which leaves us with one final lingering thought to chew on today. If an entire, highly advanced population like the Denisovans, people who mastered rotary drills and thrived in the harshest freezing mountains on Earth, can simply vanish from the historical record, what else is buried right beneath our feet, just waiting to be found? The shadows of our ancestors are incredibly long, and honestly, I have a feeling we've only just begun to see the light. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today, guys. Keep learning and keep looking deeper.